Welcome to the Dark Files. Tonight we dive deep into the shadowy corridors of an unsolved mystery that continues to send shivers down the spines of those who dare to remember it. A case so terrifying, so elusive, it became known by a name that still chills the hearts of many. The Phantom Rapist of Boston. After we dive into the darkness, subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for don't miss any updates. In the early 1980s, fear gripped the streets of Massachusetts. A string of brutal attacks haunted the nights, leaving behind no trace, no clues, and no justice. Women in their homes, safe or so they thought, suddenly found themselves prey to a faceless terror, a predator who struck without warning and then vanished into the night without a sound. It started as whispers. Stories of a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, slipping into homes under the cover of night. His entrance was as silent as his exit. He would creep through unlocked windows, back doors, and even walls thin enough to be pierced by the fear that lingered on the other side. The victims, mostly women, were left with hauntingly few details. They couldn't recall his face because they never saw it. He wore a mask, always hidden behind a veil of anonymity. No one could describe him with certainty. Some said his voice was soft, a whisper of menace. Others claimed they heard nothing but the sound of their own breath, as the terror set in. Boston had never seen anything like it. The media dubbed him the Phantom, not because of what he did, but because of what he left behind. Nothing. No fingerprints, no footprints, no DNA, nothing but dread. The police were desperate, but powerless. Detectives and investigators combed through every clue, every whisper of information, only to find themselves facing dead end after dead end. It was as if the Phantom didn't exist at all. Each attack was methodical, precise, and perfectly executed, like a ghost slipping in and out of reality. There was no pattern to his violence. One week, a quiet suburban neighborhood. The next, a city apartment. His victims came from all walks of life. There was no rhyme, no reason, only the violence that followed. Some women never spoke again of what had happened. Others were too scared to stay in the city. But one thing remained constant. The Phantom was always one step ahead of the law. But what made the Phantom Rapist truly terrifying was not just the brutality of his crimes. It was the silence that followed. Months would go by without a single attack. Just when the city thought it could breathe again, he would strike. He didn't follow a schedule. He didn't follow a pattern. He followed his own twisted sense of control. It was psychological warfare, a game of patience and fear. And then, in 1984, it all stopped. After years of terrorizing the people of Boston and the surrounding towns, the Phantom simply vanished. No more attacks, no arrests, no closure. For decades, investigators have revisited the case, poring over the cold files, searching for answers in the void. But even with modern forensic technology, the Phantom remains a shadow. Some speculate that he moved, taking his dark methods elsewhere. Others believe he died, his secrets buried with him. But there are those who think he's still out there. The victims who survived are left with the scars of his terror. The city is left with the stain of his presence. And we, as spectators, are left to wonder, will the Phantom ever return? What kind of person slips through the cracks of our reality so easily? How does one evade justice for so long and leave behind no trace? The Phantom Rapist is more than a man. He's a ghost, a specter that lingers not in the shadows of the streets, but in the minds of those who remember. Every unlocked window, every creak in the floorboards, every shadow that dances just out of view is a reminder that sometimes the monsters are real. The case of the Phantom Rapist of Boston remains one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries in American history. And as the years pass, the fear remains. What if he's still watching, still waiting for the perfect moment to strike again? Keep your doors locked, your windows shut, and your lights on. The Phantom could be closer than you think. Like the video, because a single like inspires me a lot for making more contents like this. Bye. See you soon in a new video. Now you can check out this video if you want.